What is going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. This will be a video basically kind of summing up the chaos that has been this week, and also sum up a little bit of the. I'll also give my predictions for the game this weekend. Okay. First thing I want to say is please like, share, and subscribe. I've gotten a few subscribers this last week. That's awesome. I want to get a little bit. I want to grow it a little bit more. If anyone who likes or leaves a comment or shares it to a friend's page, leave a comment. I'll give you a like. I'll give you a shout out in my next video. I have some pretty loyal fans who comment on every, pretty loyal followers. I don't say fans, but followers. Been commenting on just about every video. So I'll give you guys a shout out in the next video. But I want to get some more follows. If you give me a follow or share it, someone gives me a follow, I'll give you a shout out. All right. On to the content. So I've come to some conclusions the last year or two about the Washington Redskins fan base. I don't want to say we're uneducated, so I don't think that's the case. I just think we're very emotional. We are overly emotional, overreacting, over everything. Okay, we just overreact to every little thing that the Washington Redskins do. And it's a little bit disheartening that we're just that overreactive. I mean, we're such an erratic fan base at this point. The Washington Redskins, yeah, have we had 3 bad games? Yes. I mean, only a fool would say that's not the case. Have we had 3 bad games? Yes. But all the people are looking at all the wrong reasons as to why we've had those 3 bad games. Okay? All the wrong reasons. Okay? If we look at the first game of the season, you can look at one stat that points out why we lost. We blew a 17-point lead because we couldn't get off the field on third downs. And the Eagles converted on third downs and ended up beating us. But if you listen to the fans, Case Keenum didn't have as many points in the second half as in the first half, so apparently it's his fault. Defense giving up 30-plus points in every game this year, and somehow it's the quarterback's fault. Look at the second game. Quarterback puts up 230 yards, no turnovers, couple touchdowns, but our defense basically can't get off the field. And through our first 2 games, our defense was giving up 64% completion percentage. And somehow that is still the offense's fault that the defense can't get off the field on third downs. The logic behind it is just erratic, and it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense how much the Washington Redskins fans look at the wrong reasons as to why the team's bad. Now they're looking at switching out Haskins. A lot of people wanted Haskins to play against the Bears. If a seasoned veteran who's, I wouldn't say he's great. I wouldn't say he's great, but he's not bad. He's not been the worst quarterback we've had. Case Keenum has been a very productive quarterback for us. I give Jay Gruden a lot of credit considering for the last 3, he's had 3 quarterbacks in 3 years that started. Let me rephrase this. He's had 7 quarterbacks in the last 3 years. He had Kirk, then he had, it might not be 7, it might be like 5. Kirk, Colt McCoy, Alex Smith, Mark Sanchez, I think it was Josh Johnson, Josh Jackson, whatever his name is, and now he's got Case Keenum, and he might have a 7th one, which, okay, this would be 7 then, if he starts Dwayne Haskins. He's had no stability at quarterback when it comes to, let me rephrase this, he's had some stability, but he's been rotating through quarterbacks like something crazy. And every time he gets a new quarterback, everyone thinks that it's going to be a catastrophe, the quarterback's going to be bad, but every time the quarterback's productive. I don't like Kirk Cousins, but he was productive enough to get himself a $90 million contract guaranteed. I actually like Case Keenum. If he was a little bit taller, I think he'd be your prototypical quarterback. And I think Jay Gruden's put him in a position to be successful. The only issue I have with Case Keenum is I think he's really stiff in the pocket, and I think his hands are a little too small, and sometimes he squeezes the ball too much. And that ball pops out. But beyond that, I mean, I don't think Case Keenum's been bad, and I don't think Colt McCoy was bad whenever he was starting. I think he put us in an opportunity to win, and I definitely were good with Alex Smith. Josh Johnson, you can say what you want. He was an AAF, Alliance of American Football League quarterback or whatever. We got him randomly, and we put together a strategy that made us capable of beating teams. Basically, what we did, and with him. So I don't think people really understand that Jay Gruden's actually pretty good. I think he's if we keep Jay Gruden, I honestly think he's going to develop Haskins into one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I honestly do think that. I think Haskins is that capable. The thing is, you have to have a coach who can and teach him all the right things. The reason why, and everyone's going to lean back and go back to RG3 and say, well, he did that in RG3. RG3 wasn't listening. I love RG3. I was one of the biggest RG3 fans. I still have his jersey, but RG3 just didn't listen. RG3 didn't know the dropbacks. He didn't know how many steps he had to take, and that messed him up, and he wanted to blame other people for getting him sacked whenever he's supposed to be doing a 3-step drop and get rid of the football, but he's taking 5 steps and holding on to it, or he's supposed to have a 5-step drop and he's doing a 3-step, and then he's getting sacked because he's not back far enough because offensive line expects him to be further back, whatever. There's tons of different things that result in sacks in the NFL if there's not proper communication and proper understanding of the play. And that was one of the issues Robert Griffin was having. Now, one thing I do dislike about Jay is how he treated Robert about it. He didn't go out there and how do I put this? He basically called out Robert on all of his issues, and then early in Kirk's career, he gave Kirk a lot of excuses. Then he ended up calling out Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, he basically was just trying to do that to save a young quarterback who hadn't started yet and wasn't the guy. So I get that. But Jay Gruden's, I think, been a really good coach for us, and everyone's going to look at his record. Records don't tell the entire thing. Okay? Records don't tell the entire story. Records don't tell the fact that he has so many injuries every year. And he's not responsible for injuries. That's the training staff. He's not responsible for guys to work out in the offseason. Okay? Is it his fault right now Jordan Reed has a concussion? It is not his fault. He has nothing to do with that. But everyone's going to look at it and say, Jordan Reed, or what's his name? Jay Gruden is not winning because of this. No, he just doesn't have the talent on the field. Listen, we can look at a lot of things. We had Jordan Reed in the first game, we'd have won. If we had Jordan Reed in the first game, we'd have won the first game. If we had Jordan Reed in the second game, we'd have made it closer. If we got off the field on third downs, we'd have made it closer. There's a lot of things you can look at to say these are things that could have helped us win. I think Jay Gruden is playing the hand he's dealt. He's got the worst owner in football, and I will say that with clarity. We have the worst owner in football. The Washington Redskins have the worst owner in football. Dan Snyder, you are the worst owner in football. We have one of the worst GMs in Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen is one of the worst GMs in football. No other GM is going to have a player who has trade value like Jordan or Trent Williams sit on his bench, not getting money, and let him sit there and not get value for him when you can just trade him and move on from the headache. No other GM will do that. Okay? No other GM will do that. I don't understand why Bruce Allen has hung on to him for this long. It's ridiculous how he's not doing any good on the bench. I'm not going to get into this. This is not. Jay Gruden is playing with a huge disadvantage. We have an owner that doesn't keep his nose out of football. We have an owner who also won't just let the coach the team. He wants to be involved in all the wrong ways. He doesn't let GMs make decisions. He wants to make decisions. He thinks that if you just he thinks he can run a football team like a business. You make one move and boom, you're this. You trade up 4 picks for RG3 and boom, we're gonna be good for the next 5 years. No, we were good for a year, and then people figured it out and we had to adjust, and we didn't adjust. We didn't improve the team around him to increase that. So on and so forth. So there's a lot of different things that Dan Snyder does that puts us at a huge disadvantage. It is not fair that Jay Gruden can't just get rid of Jordan Reed, get that money that we can use on that. Not Jordan Reed, I'm sorry, Trent Williams. And he didn't just get rid of Trent Williams, get draft picks, so we know what we're fighting for next year. So let's say we trade him. We have a first-round pick. Now we have 2 first-rounders. Jay can coach accordingly, knowing that he's not going to have Trent Williams back. Every week he has to prepare like Trent Williams is going to walk that door. And he's got to play him, because if he comes back and doesn't play him, then he's going to get uproar from the coaching staff or from Bruce Allen, or not coaching staff, I'm sorry, the media. He's going to get uproar from the media. You didn't play the guy after he came back. It's not fair to Jay Gruden that he has to deal with that bullshit. That's not his doing. Some things are his fault. When you don't make adjustments in games, that's their fault. Okay, I think he does make adjustments. I think he adjusts to things. He adjusted to the Bears defense. They actually got the ball moving. Now, a lot of people say the Bears defense gave up. I mean, you're not still getting sacked, and then the next two plays later you get a touchdown on that same defense. The defense is not giving up. We had them figured out. We had things figured out early. Mistakes happen, man. Some teams just know how to capitalize on mistakes. And there's nothing in my mind that says that even if we wouldn't have had 5 turnovers, there's nothing in my mind, not one damn thing in my mind doesn't say to me that the Washington Redskins defense would have still given up 28 points or 31 points, whatever it was. Nothing to prove that. Okay, is it the offense's fault that they're on a 3rd and 15, we throw a bomb, the other team throws a bomb and beats our guy deep when it's 3rd and 15? Is that his fault? No. It's not. I personally think defensive coordinator is the issue. Jay Gruden can't do much because he's handcuffed by the system that he's in. He's handcuffed by the owner he works for, and the GM that's above him. What he can do is he can change defensive coordinators. He can fire Minuski. Okay, really, what I'm curious of, and I wish the Redskins would have done this week. What I'm curious of is the Washington Redskins. Is what's going on with the Washington Redskins right now? Is Greg Minuski the disease, or is he the side effect of another disease? It could be it's all a side effect of Dan Snyder, but I've seen Jay Gruden overcome that before, and I think he can do that again. Everyone says that we need to get a new coach. Who are we going to get in there? Who will the Redskins get in as a coach that will be able to deal with Dan Snyder? The only coach I can think of, and this coach would have to come with he would have to make some real stipulations with the Washington Redskins front office, would be Dabo Swinney. If we had Dabo Swinney as our coach, he'd have to say, listen, I make all decisions. You make no decisions. You are to stay out of the football conversation. I make all the decisions with football. That's literally the only coach I can think of. Maybe Lincoln Riley, it's possible. Maybe Urban Meyer, I don't know. But there's not a lot of coaches out there that we can bring in that are going to put us in a position to win. Everyone can say, like, we can just promote from, whoever our offensive coordinator is. It's not going to solve the problem. It's not going to solve the problem, because if you just promote him, you can still keep your defense. I still think the defense coordinator is just the problem. We fix the defensive coordinator problem, we fix all of our problems. Not getting off the field on 3rd downs, getting up 31 points a game, that's clearly our problem right now. You can sit there and say the offense, but I mean, I think that is a symptom of the defense. Offense doesn't have the ball enough and get enough opportunities. When it had the ball a lot in the first half against the Eagles, we controlled the clock. We even though we couldn't run the ball well, we still controlled the clock. We put points on the board. Even with Case Keenum, and everyone's denigrating him and downgrading him and talking horrible about him. Even with all that, he still got over 1,000 yards almost 1,000 yards in 3 games, over 65% completion percentage. So many things that I just don't want to get into, but it's just asinine that people don't want to look at stats and look at it. And they want to put Haskins into behind apparently a really bad offensive line. This is why we are not playing Haskins. One, we don't have a running game. So we're going to be focused solely on Haskins throwing the ball. Okay, and I think he's a good thrower of the football, don't get me wrong, but there's also the possibility he's going to get a lot of turnovers because of that. He's going to force a lot of turnovers because the more passes you throw, the more likely you are to turn the ball over. It's just the way football is. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second, our offensive line, I don't think has been bad so far this year, and we've actually played 3 really good defenses, and we haven't given up a lot of sacks. I'm very impressed with that personally. I was very shocked to see that was the issue, or that was the issue. I'm shocked to see that outcome. But our offensive line just isn't great, and so that's the second part. 3, I honestly don't think the Washington Redskins players, the whole team, believes that they can win with Haskins right now. They've seen the guy in practice. They've seen the guy in preseason. I'm not gonna lie. In preseason, when he gets rolling, this guy can roll. He can roll. He can play with the best of them. He gets on a roll. He can play good. Problem is he's young, and there's things he hasn't seen yet. There's things, not enough game film that he hasn't watched enough game film to even consider understanding all the things that can be thrown at him by a good defense. Okay, and starting him now, I mean, what's the point of starting him now? We can put him behind a bad offensive line. He can start throwing turnovers, so we can kill his confidence. Okay, we can get him injured. We can do all the same things we've done in the past, or we can do the exact opposite of what we've done in the past and sit a quarterback who we drafted high, which mean, we drafted him high, so I'm personally of that opinion. If you draft someone that high, you got to play him. But after looking at the season team right now, I think Haskins is the better option still. Or not Haskins, I'm sorry, Keenum. Keenum is the better option right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see Haskins. I think Haskins will be the starter week 1 next year. And I think we're going to have some exciting things to show people. We're going to have an exciting young running back, if Garrett's guys can stay healthy. We have an exciting young receiving core. I will tell you, that is the most exciting part of this football team right now to me, is Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. I want to get Harmon more involved and Trey Quinn, but those two are a really dynamic duo. They really are, and they're going to be a dynamic duo for years to come if they can just stay healthy. And once we start getting Haskins going next year, I think that's Haskins' year. I think it's when he starts. It's when he starts taking the reins as a starting quarterback, and it's going to be a scary duo. And I really, really see next year's getting rid of Jordan Reed and moving on and getting a young tight end to pair with this group. Imagine the young team we're going to have with our young defensive line. We have a young offensive line we're playing. We have a young quarterback with young receivers, with a young new tight end, with a young running back. And eventually we're going to phase out our old defensive players and Josh Norman and Ryan Kerrigan. We're going to phase those guys out, and we're going to have young players. We have draft picks. We're not like trading away draft picks for players. We've been very smart about hanging on to our picks. We just need to be smart about acquiring some more. Sorry, I got on a rant there for a minute. But people act like the Redskins, the roof is caving in. Like, we're going to lose every game this year and every game next year. Guys, it's the first 3 games, and we played 3 playoff teams. I work in Pittsburgh, and I have a coworker. The Steelers are 0-3 right now. And he's like, you guys are 0-3 too. I'm like, oh, listen, we're 0-3 against 3 playoff teams. You're 0-3 against 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year. And someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Seahawks made the playoffs last year. So 3 teams that made the playoffs, 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year, and obviously the Patriots, which we play the Patriots soon. And I have a feeling that we're probably going to lose, but I have a feeling it's going to be a better game than people anticipate. They don't have Brown. They don't have Gordon. They don't have Edelman right now is apparently injured. So they have a lot of guys that aren't playing at the moment. And they don't have tight end, Gronkowski. So we might actually be able to put up a decent attempt at this game. So I'm throwing it out there. I'm not saying we're going to win or anything. That'll be next week's conversation after this week. We'll see what happens this week. I mean, for all I know, we're going to get blown out by the Giants, and then our most coaching staff is fired, and we got to clean house middle of the week, and we're just not prepared to play the Patriots, even with them like losing a lot of their good players. So there's a lot of things that could happen right now with the Washington Redskins in the next week that can completely change any opinion that I have, or once the facts change, your opinion should change too. So I guess that's what they say. And I'm going to comment on this, by the way. I don't like listening to like ESPN about the Washington Redskins. I love First Take. It's my favorite show, and I love Stephen A. Smith. But he's mentioning names of guys that they have that are injured and not going to play this year. And they're talking about, you had this brother, this cat, you have this guy, and then you're not doing anything with him. Like, okay, well, Reuben Foster ruptured his Achilles or towards ACL or something, or MCL or something like that. So first off, he's not even playing. And I love it when they comment, and then you have Max Kellerman, who can't say the Redskin name because he thinks it's racist. I'm going to not say Giants anymore. I'm going to say the New York Giants blue team, because Giants is offensive to small people or little people. Let's just start saying that. It's just so fucking stupid. Sorry. The last thing I'm going to go over is the Giants. Okay, so Daniel Jones played against a Tampa Bay front that doesn't really get after the quarterback. They're not very good. I think we'll get after him a little bit more. We'll throw a little more wrinkles in him. They had no game film on him. We have at least a game on him, see what he can do. The problem we're going to have is the problem we have with any mobile quarterback is we're not going to have the ability to. We never have the ability to contain mobile quarterbacks. That's what always kills us. The good news is they don't have great talent at receiver. They don't have great talent at receiver. The best receiver they have is Sterling Shepard. And I think they have Golden Tate as well. Excuse me. So they have some things, but I don't think it's going to be enough that that it's going to. I think we can win. It's definitely a winnable game. I'm not considering proclaim we're going to blow them out of the water. Daniel Jones, honestly, was the quarterback that I wanted to draft this year. If you don't believe me, I have my own podcast, or I have my own video, and I have a video that I was on with on the Warpath, where I had the discussion where I think Daniel Jones is the guy. And I explained why, and I explained why I didn't want Drew Lock and a couple other players. And I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say I didn't want Haskins. It's just I just didn't think he was experienced enough. And to get him as high in the first round, I thought we were going to trade up and get him. I honestly thought the Giants were going to take him. But the Giants, I think we're going to win this week. They don't have Giants do not have a good defense. This is the first defense we played that's not going to be a top 5 defense this year. Eagles are a top 5 defense. The Dallas Cowboys are a top 5 defense. And the Chicago Bears are probably the best defense in football. Okay? This is the first defense we're playing where we're not playing a top 5 anything. If anything, they're one of the bottom feeders. Their defense is as low as ours. So we actually have a chance to really put points on the board. And I saw some things last week that we can build on. If we don't change our defensive scheme, I mean, there's nothing we're really going to do. We're going to let a young quarterback sit back and get comfortable, and he's going to pick us apart, and he's going to scramble for touchdowns because we're not scheming to take away his strengths. The New England Patriots are the best at doing this. The New England Patriots make you play left-handed. They make you play and make your 4th and 5th option the reason why you win the football game, not your first option. And the Redskins do a piss poor job of doing that. For the first game, like for a while we were doing that. For a while we were letting them run the ball and letting them do that, and not letting them beat us passing because Carson Wentz is their best player. So we were letting them get passing yards. Same thing happened with the Cowboys. Their passing game, their running game. Honestly, the running game was we let that get going and with an attempt to try to stop the passing game, and it just didn't work. And the problem about strategies got executed. Jesus fucking Christ! Pardon my French. This guy just slammed on his brakes. He's turning, and he didn't put a signal on until the last second. So sorry about that. Okay, so it took you forever to turn there. Okay. Oh, what am I saying? Okay, so I think the Redskins we're gonna win this game. Okay, I don't think it. We're gonna win this game. I'm declaring that the Washington Redskins will win this game. And we're gonna end up tied with the New York Giants for 3rd place in the division at 1-3. We will win this game 27-20. I keep saying that number. I think 27 is a magic number that this team can score 24 to 27 points. Our defense should be good enough to stop teams from scoring that much. Probably need to score about 35 points just to be safe because the way our defense is playing, we're just not going to be able to stop teams. And honestly, my opponent in fantasy football this week actually did something very smart, and I got to give kudos to him. Quarterbacks that have played the Redskins have gotten like 30 points in fantasy, and he decided to get Daniel Jones, so I got to give him credit on that. Last week I told a guy at work, I'm like, listen, man, if you get Mitchell Trubisky, you're probably going to win your fantasy football game. But instead he started Ben Roethlisberger, and then Ben he started Ben he started somebody, I don't remember who it was. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's it. Jimmy Garoppolo had like 5 turnovers. But to win this game, Redskins offense, it's going to get going. They're not a good defense. They don't have a good defensive front. They have a decent defensive secondary, but we just got to get going, get Adrian Peterson going. Defense, let's get a few stops, get off field on 3rd down. Just do something we can build on. If we can present ourselves, come out, and hold them to, like, just lower the percentage, get it down to like 50% on 3rd down conversions, and we're able to build on something. We find something that works. Like, we're able to get after Daniel Jones. We're able to flush him. We're able to get forced turnovers. The offense is able to establish a run. Maybe we go with Smallwood, like I suggested, and we're able to do those things. Let's find something we can build on. Let's find something we can do and game plan against New England. Everyone's thinking New England's going to blow us out of the water. I'm going to be honest right now. The way New England's looking, they look good. Don't get me wrong, but they also have injured. Julian Edelman's injured. Josh Gordon hasn't been playing well. They don't have Antonio Brown. They cut him. And they don't have Demaryius Thomas. He's on the Jets right now, or the Bills. I think it's Jets. So it's not like they're coming into our game loaded. No, if you just slow down the running game, Tom Brady's going to pick us apart regardless. But that's a video for next week. I don't want to get too much into that. I just want the team to win tomorrow. That's my video. Like, share, subscribe. Like I said, give a shout out. Anyone who comments and has been commenting, we'll give you a big shout out in our next video. feel the love. I really like having the discourse and discussions we can have with each other. I like your comments.